Okay, good morning, class. So, before I will start the discussion, I would like to ask these two essential questions. Okay? So, what is the importance of a good design to a website, particularly to e-commerce website? And second, how does a well-designed website affect its users? And what is the effect of poor design on the performance of a website? All right? So you need to answer that one later. Okay. So last time, I already discussed on how to create website on how to create your e-commerce website using the different platforms. But this time, we will really focus on or how to design, okay, your e-commerce website. Okay, so in designing online store class, we need to be meticulous and exact so as not to make something that we would have to destroy later on because it is an abomination, okay, abomination in presentation and functionality. So, therefore, we should be careful if we're going to create a website. So, there are things that you have to consider. Okay? So, these are the four essentials, okay, for an e-commerce website. So, these are the four essential design aspects that you will need for your e-commerce website to be effective. So, we will focus on the effectivity of our website, okay? First thing is non-cluttered layout. Second is readable text. Okay. Third is clear visuals. And fourth is the easy navigation. Now, we will check, okay? We will discuss it one by one. So these four class, if you miss any one of these things, okay, then you may likely lose an advantage of to selling more effectively. So let's talk. Okay, let's talk about each one in more detail. All right. First, non-cluttered layout. So when you say non-cluttered layout, what does it mean? Okay, what does it mean if it's a non-cluttered layout? So maybe you will answer, it has to be in organized. Yes, definitely yes. So novice website creators class almost make the mistake of making their website too cluttered with so many elements, text, and images included. So there is a tendency to be carried away with our ideas. Okay, and even if you don't intend to, you eventually get a page that's chock full of so many things that give you a headache just by looking at it, making it hard to focus on at one time. Okay, so as a rule, so this is the rule. The visual content of a web page must follow the natural flow of the eyes when scanning or reading a book, and that's from left to right, then back again. So unlike Japanese that they have to read it up, down, something like that. Okay? So yung lahi man ng Japanese, lahi man atong usual reading. Now, basically class, a good layout also allows the reader to gently focus on the items on the screen in a pattern that follows the natural way a viewer's eyes take when looking at the web page. So, which is an F-shaped, okay? F-shaped pattern. It is from beginning at the top left corner and going down and right. So this conclusion was based on the study of the Nielsen-Norman group. Okay, it's here in the one. And which also concluded that the most important content of your the most important content of your document be placed in the first two paragraphs of the text. Right? Remember, placed it in the first two paragraphs of the text. So ideally, the blocks of elements on the page must balance the left and the right sides as well as the top and bottom of the screen. Okay, look at this one. So, a study, a study shown that 94% of people tend to mistrust sites that have poor layout. Okay, remember, 94% of people tend to mistrust sites that have poor layout. So, search engines like the Google also frown upon cluttered websites that load with difficulty. Okay, for your e-commerce site to gain the trust to customers and search engines, your layout must be a great looking and professional looking. Okay, so take a look at the example. I have two pictures here. Okay, so which two of the sites is better? Okay, you will answer, Unsa man? Or maybe you will answer number 2. Okay, so must organize. See number 2. Next, now for additional information, pointers for a good e-commerce website layout. So, a colored mapping of the parts of a landing page that viewers look at the most, so naka-red, and look at the least in other colors. So, they usually, nag-colored mapping na sila, which part users or audience usually look most, okay, or which part is the least. Okay, ingan na siya. And then, okay, that's what I mentioned earlier. So, take note. Okay, the layout must consider the F-shape pattern. Okay, people naturally follow when looking at the page. If you showcase is a product, if your showcase is a product rather, it may help to put its image on the left, followed by the information on the right side. Okay? And then, oops. Okay, for number 2, the logo must be at the top left corner of the page because that's where people usually look first and it will give you a credibility at the outset. So usually if when you browse a certain website, they usually put a logo. If it's a company or it's an organization, they put it in the left side. Okay, so third, the first few lines of the text must get the attention of your readers. These must tell the reader what the whole business is about and that there's more to discover about the product or service. So, as I have mentioned earlier, that the very important or essential content must be placed at the first two paragraphs. Okay, so that's it. Next, fourth, the first two paragraphs must contain the most important points of the business. Then, fifth, less is more, they say. So, keep it simple to get your message across the audience. So, keep it simple and safe. Okay? So, the more you put something, it will create, chaos or yes. So, less is more. So, put it a little bit information lang and then para safe and simple lang siya. Now, next, the second essential is a readable text. So, as a rule, the visual content of a page must follow a natural flow. Oh, this is wrong. Okay, there is something wrong with this text but na repeat na ko. Anyway, for the readable text, so you have to check that the target audience must be able to understand what the seller is trying to say with ease. So the typeface used must be not too small or not too big. It must be the kind that is easy to read and straightforward class, such as Calibre or Arial. So using fonts with serif, okay, in printing short lines at the end of the lines of the letter, such as the New Romans, okay, New Times New Roman, or um, other serif type of uh, font face, it is okay to make use of them, but as a norm, we make use of the sans serif fonts that are used because they are supposedly easier on the eyes when displayed on the computer screen. So their use on websites, however, is not the rule. Okay? Again, we usually do or apply the font face of sans serif, not serif. Okay, unsay porma. Okay, serif class. So serif, there is a kanang ending points here, sa lines niya na siya design. Unlike sa sans serif, it's just the normal way of writing. So that's it. Okay, next. So look at the two examples. Okay, which do you think is more readable? Is it 1 or 2? Okay, 2. Correct. No? You will probably say 1, 2. Yes. Next. Now, let's go to clear visuals. So, a picture may not have a single word in it, yet it has the power to deliver a message more than any description could. So, which picture do you give or do you think gives a clear idea of what the product is all about? Okay? So, in this part, you have to make sure that you will not put too much picture of your product, okay? Just give one picture and give details, right? So in this example, you might answer me first picture, okay? Gives a clear idea of what pictures is all about. Clear visuals, okay? Now let's go to easy navigation. Easy navigation. If you have a website that sells more than one product, you must make sure that potential customers browsing your site can easily find the links to other pages of your site where they can find the product they want to see. Okay, so salesperson who are campaigning for product packages using advertisement online often use a simple landing page or otherwise known as lead capture page. Okay, landing page is also known as lead capture page that potential customers just scroll to read about the product and the testimonials. At the bottom, it is where they find the link that takes them to another page where they can either fill up a form to get free subscription to content related to the product or to be taken to the other or to be taken to order page itself. All right, the easiest way to create a landing page is for you the easiest way to create a landing page for free is to use Google Docs. I'm sure that you're familiar with Google Docs. Just make the basic layout of the document file and then publish it on the internet using publish function. Okay, easy navigation. So always think of that. Um, if you're the creator, you also have to think that you are also the user. So make sure that in easy navigation, as a user, uh, it will it will not create how do you call that one difficulties. Okay, there is no difficulties in browsing the net. So, easy to manage. Okay, let's have a continuation. So, um, making sure your e-commerce website does what it is intended to, okay? So just because your website and all the features are set up, or that your marketing processes are in place, so that's not mean that you just leave your website alone as a self-functioning program. So your website still needs to be checked and tweaked, okay? Tweaked periodically to make sure that it does what it is supposed to. So it sell products, and bring income. Okay, some of the things that you might want to do when checking up on your website are the following. So first is you have to test your website. Okay, test your site's content. So you have to check the misspelled words and broken links will give potential customers the impression of a lack of professionalism, which would make them less likely to buy something from your website. So if it takes a customer 10 links plus 10 different pages to buy a product, then that's too long. All right? So remember, if you had to go through 10 different rooms in a supermarket, just to get a particular pair of shoes, chances are good you'd get annoyed by the time you get to the third or fourth room and would just leave and go to the another store. Okay? So you have to remember that. Second, make sure that your website loads quickly. So instead of using big file or large file image formats like the BMP or the JPEG, so you can make use of the PNG, which is smaller. Okay? So PNG is much better. Portable network group, which is smaller. Next, verify upgrades that you will put on your website. So nothing is more annoying to potential customer than to have a website not do what he wants it to do. And if he gets annoyed if he gets annoyed enough, he he or she might not return to your website again ever. Okay? So, di ba, usually there are kind of updates happened in our website. So, you have to verify which one is necessary to be updated lang. Okay, next, load text. Okay, load test. So, load test the test, or the site rather, which you can do by creating sample transactions to simulate customer traffic and see how much traffic it can handle. So, this is very important for a good customer service class and experience, particularly to make sure that your doesn't crash when too many customers get online at the same time. So, there's an example given class na an example of overloading occurred in May 2011 when Amazon released an album of Lady Gaga of USD 0.099 per album. So many customers went to Amazon websites that the servers literally stalled, and for a short time after that, lots of people had nothing good to say about Amazon's music downloading website, saying that they instead would go to their competitor like iTunes, okay, for their future needs. So wala na siya na kitaan sa creator, okay? So we have to check also in this part. Next, check if check to make sure that your internet service provider performance is good. So if your website is a top-notch, but your network provider is a subpar, the customer will perceive your website's performance to a subpar. Result, fewer customers and even fewer paying customers will go to your site. Okay? So you choose a good provider, okay? Service provider like PLDT and what else? Daghan pa man. Alright? So next is you have to integrate upselling and cross-selling opportunities into your website. So this has the potential to increase your sales revenue. So let's say you're selling a physical book on your website and the customer buy a 100-page book on motorcycle racing. So through a link, you can recommend a more complete 200-page book, which is also more expensive than the book he selected on motorcycle racing, or you can recommend a book cover that he might be interested in to protect his book. So the former is upselling, the later is cross-selling, and both could bring it more revenue to you. So remember, upselling and cross-selling. So ensure the efficiency and effectiveness of your search function. Okay? So if a customer is looking for a red shirt in a particular, so then he should see a red. So shirts when he searches your website, not pink, not fonts, but red shirts. Anything else is annoying. So efficiency and effectiveness of your search function dapat correct. Okay? So that's it. Let me check. So to sum up everything, class, okay? To sum up everything. So the design of an online store is very important. So if you want your e-commerce site to be effective, four essential designs aspect are needed. So namely, non-cluttered layout, readable text, clear visuals, and easy navigation. Those are the four essential aspects that you need. Next, with these features in place, you must then make sure that your e-commerce website does what is intended to do by checking and tweaking it regularly using a certain protocols. Okay? You have to remember this. Right. So, word bank. So you have to remember typeface. When you say typeface, it is a style or a type of typographic family. Okay, like the Times New Romans and Calibre, Arial. So those are the kinds of typeface. Okay, landing page also refers to a long page or a long web page that contains details on a product used in connection with an online ad. Okay? Testimonials, class, is a stated expression or recommendation from a person regarding a product or a service. So when you shop to Shopee or Lazada or Zalora, so there are also parts where customers give comments and testimonials about the product they bought from that store. Okay? Upselling, so a sales method that encourages a customer to buy another item. Upselling, like I have shoes, okay? Paris ani sir, nice ni if ani ang kuan. So butangan gyapon nim siya additional top up ba for upselling. So cross-selling, a way of selling between customers. So if daghan siya gipalit, you recommend another page para makuha niya sa cross-selling. Okay, so based on the topic given, I hope you have understood the topic, class, and then comment your answers, right, with the two main questions I gave a while ago. So, okay, you have to answer this one, the two essential questions. So, what is the importance of a good design to a website, particularly an e-commerce website? And two, how does a well-designed website affect its users? So what is the effect of a poor design and the performance of a website? So I hope it's all clear. And if you have questions, message me directly. So for now, I would say goodbye and God bless you, class.